What up, folks? It's Mo and Bro here, bringing you some bonus content, talking about an issue that some of you may or may not have heard of recently as it pertains to the recent closing of the 2018 CrossFit Open. Now, there were several controversies, bro, that kind of happened in the middle of the Open. The first one with the rowers, how they assessed people a 15% penalty, or they had to, no, first they had to do it over, right?
Both. They had to redo it and they got a penalty.
Okay, because the top two in the world for 18.2 happened to use those Zybex, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
The other rowers.
That's what they are, the other rowers.
The other rowers. And those two scores were invalidated. Then the next issue was with the new handstand push-up standard. Mm. And that brings us to today's bonus content topic, specifically talking about the video validation for Brooke Wells.
Yeah, it's like beating an old horse over and over again, but this is what happens when CrossFit messes up.
And we've actually had several people ask us to talk about it. So this is what we're here for. We're not here to make up our own content. So because, you are listeners who are the reason why we're here, we're just going to talk about it real briefly. So the issue is a video was posted on one of Brooke Wells' social media outlets.
YouTube, I believe.
And almost immediately people started firing off about how in the video you could identify that she was not meeting the standard.
Correct.
Standard meaning that her heels had to be above the tape line, which was on the wall. And for those that don't remember, we had a new standard this year. Instead of the line being at the previous standard where you had to extend your hands over your head, and then you measured at your wrist, and then you took away...
It's some stupid math.
It was you divided by pi and all that stuff. Where this year, the standard, you had to bend your arm.
This is so stupid.
And they measured from your wrist, and then you had to add that to your overall height. It was a little interesting. It was a little different. It wasn't very straightforward.
Here's what happened. Someone that doesn't CrossFit made that standard because if they know anything... CrossFitters and math does not go hand in hand. I'm just saying.
Yeah, unless you're stacking plates. Yeah, we don't math good.
No.
So in the video, I never saw the video. It was taken down before I had a chance to look at it. Did you see it?
Yep. Okay,
so tell us what you saw.
First off, it was like from 2,000 feet away, right? And so when you video, you're supposed to clearly show the athlete moving, show they're moving a standard. That they're achieving that, have the clock in the background, and there must be a continuous running video. It can't be like cut out and then repositioned. And,
can't be edited like someone tried to do a couple of years ago.
They did do, yeah. Thanks to the online community, they caught him because HQ didn't, right? Yeah. So it's these people watching the video. So yeah, it was just so far away, and you could even it was across the gym. Imagine being all the way across your gym. You're trying to film one standard. It was done maliciously because it was on the lowest quality video too. Like, I don't know, flip phone grade.
It was very poor quality. It was the one still I did see. It looked like they were had to be more than 50 feet away where the camera was positioned. But otherwise, you could see the athlete, you could see the line, and you could see the clock. So it did meet those parameters of the intent. Now, as far as overall quality, and could they have gotten closer? I'm just going to take a stance on that and say yes.
Well, they really bashed Brooke Wells on this because they're like 99.99% of our other videos and pictures is in like 4K resolution. Now all of a sudden, on a movement,
picture in picture.
Well, okay, and she gets some flack too because what was it, a year or two ago? It's last year, maybe. There was the handstand push-ups where she's going
on the live release.
And she was getting no rep left and right. Then somehow, when she's at home training, she crushes her score, right? So that's kind of why she got a lot of flack, was that, and CrossFit really didn't help her. They really, with their statement that Mo's going to read here, it really put her in a bad situation. But to me, it falls down to the athlete and coach.
Okay.
Don't make something questionable. Like, you know what I mean? It's do it without question. The full standard.
Leave no doubt.
We've seen Matt Frazier submit a video, have a score. He didn't like how the video looked. So he redid it and revideoed it. It's just that simple. You're an elite athlete. You're going to go to games. redo the workout. And the only reason you don't redo it, because you know you ain't going to perform what you need to do.
So here's a statement that Brody was talking about. We took the information shared on the thread and circulated internally. The video is short and at a poor angle, which makes review difficult. There do appear to be handstand push-up reps that miss the line. In terms of the video verification following the open, the video was submitted as a verification of capacity to complete the score submitted. These spot checks are designed to allow us to verify that athletes are capable of the work they claim to be. In rare, egregious cases, score adjustments based on the quality of movements or massively miscounted reps can be made. It was determined that this video did not represent one of those cases. Brooke's video has been accepted. So the gist of that statement, and from what I can read and my knowledge of the English language, it essentially says that
standards don't matter.
She could do it, is what they were trying to say. Why they went as far as is to identify the fact that some of the reps appeared to not meet the standard, and then not acknowledge that and assess a minor penalty, which there's different penalties where minor is 15%, major is I don't know what, and then there's one where they'll totally won't accept the video.
Correct. And I believe a major is 4 reps or more. Mm-hmm. And from the small video I watched, there was clearly 4 or more reps that did not count. And here's the thing. CrossFit has, from the get-go, and this is what got me fired up, they've always preached standards, right? Standard of movement, integrity, accountability,
accuracy, precision,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, those tenets. Yeah.
You know, they preach this crap. And so we, as an owner, we've always should, as owners, been onto the, hold your standard of movement. It's immeasurable, right? So we're given a standard, we complete it. Have your accountability of you've met your standard, you have not. The integrity of counting to 100, not 58, right? All that stuff they've always preached and lived on. And then when it comes down to it, they drop the ball. They say Brooke Wells has the capacity to perform at a high level, so therefore her video submission is approved. So
even though they admit that she didn't meet the standard.
Yeah. So capacity, we're talking about, you have Jacob Heckner. We keep bringing this guy up, and I'm almost over talking about this, but he literally submits his video, doesn't cheat it, right? And by HQ's stance, this is based on the capacity that an athlete has, not how they perform. He has more capacity than Brooke Wells, who struggles to make it out of regionals, right? Just has some of the worst first days of regional and games history. This guy crushes it. He performs this movement at the highest standard. This is something in his wheelhouse. So his capacity is 10 times greater than Brooke Wells' capacity in this movement. But his standards weren't cut short or approved and pushed through like hers was.
And with Jacob Hebner, he talked about it briefly, but his was just an issue of how biology, just the way his body is constructed. It was a very significant challenge for him to meet that standard at a normal rate, which, we've seen him do handstand push-ups, and you and I have seen him first live at regionals a few years ago. So I'm pretty confident, that he has the capacity to do those movements, just not at the new standard.
Here's what I say. So let's just get rid of all the judges at regionals. Let's get rid of all the judges at games, because they all have the capacity to do well. Why judge them?
It's like pick up basketball now.
I'm just saying.
Call your own fouls.
Why judge them, Mo? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Let's just take the top 10 people that would normally qualify for games or do well at games and finish in the top 10, and we'll judge them. But everybody else, we don't need to judge, because they have the capacity to make it. Everybody at regionals should go because they have the capacity to go. Because everybody at regionals has the capacity to go to games. They just either the workouts didn't fall in their wheelhouse, or they're just got a tough whatever. But they have the capacity of some sort to do well. They could go to games and not win.
Yeah, look at Danny Broflex. He got he had a couple bad days
Yeah.
and just fell short a few
I'm
times.
just saying they could go to games and not win, but they have the capacity to perform at the games level. It's just ridiculous. CrossFit to me is it's everything. I mean, I don't like we've talked about. It's not the only form of fitness. It's not CrossFit or die, but
It's what we believe in, you and I.
yeah, it's definitely what we believe in. And when you have someone who's at the helm and that is supposed to be your spokesperson, you know, it's just a joke when they release a statement like that because, you know, we're going to do what we do. That's the one big positive of CrossFit affiliation is you can do what you want in your own gym. It's a positive and negative, right?
It's the only libertarian stance that you have.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Guns are bad. It's just ridiculous when you have these people who are that are running your ship as far as their CrossFit. That's who they represent us, right? As a brand. And it's just a joke. For them to make a pathetic statement like that, just basically crushing all meaning of standards or movement. I don't know why they do it.
And for me personally, I think it's an issue where today there's no other game in town. CrossFit is the AT&T, the Coca-Cola, you know, the whatever, the NFL, you know, of functional fitness today.
Right.
But as we saw with the NFL and the AFL, you keep doing things that cause people to not want to believe in you, and someone else is going to come along and give people something to believe in.
Let's think about this. Monetarily, they're not paying their athletes anything. If it's considered a professional sport, that's nothing. You win games, 275,000.
Yeah, and it's only
people make that
40 people.
People make that in one game.
As far as professional sports, yeah.
So stop talking about how you're the biggest
sport of fitness.
You're not. I mean, you are, but you aren't. I mean, as a professional sport, they're really not making that much.
Relatively.
275,000 to be the first place winner in the, you know, individual portions is nothing. It's a one game check for an NFL athlete that, I mean, it's nothing. It's really no money. Or not NFL, but MLB. MLB makes that in a game. It's just absolutely nothing. So stop acting like you're something that you're not. We are still a very new sport, right? But when you make these decisions early on that gives you black eyes that are exposing your community, we already get enough heat as it is as an affiliation.
Because of our pull-ups.
Yeah, there's cheater pull-ups. But when you give yourself a black eye, you have the rowers, then you have the handstand push-ups. Now you got them pushing Brooke Wells through. And then you see how buddy Dave Castro is with the top athletes, his arms around them. It's crossing a line that once you go past a certain point, people are just going to stop caring. And they're going to look for other outlets. Yeah. You have Granite Games. If I was Granite Games, I'd be trying to capitalize the hell out of this. Like, I don't know if they could get some sort of backer because it's already a big deal. But,
yeah, between Granite Games, Wadapalooza, I mean, up until a few years ago, the ECCs.
Dave Castro, the programming is cool, but other people can challenge these athletes just as well. It's just the aura of CrossFit Games being the only
game in town.
Yeah,
I mean, Grid tried for a little bit. You know, it came and it went, but it did show that there are other avenues out there that athletes in our realm of sport can make money.
Yeah, but Grid did it wrong too because you can't if you want the top athletes, you can't run it when the top athletes are competing. You know what I mean?
At the same time, yeah.
That's just stupid. If you want to do something, you would do something in the
off season. Just like for those of you that might be old enough to remember the NFL and the USFL.
Yeah.
It's football in the summertime.
Yeah, so you do that in the off season and away from the CrossFit World Cup.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah,
do it away from that. And then you could actually you could get all these top tier athletes because they want to compete and they get to compete against high caliber people. And it's a little bit in their off season and it's going to kind of start ramping up their training again for the new year. So they did that wrong. You can't go head to head with something, but you can overtake something if they keep tripping. You know, people didn't like the move to Madison, right? There's a lot of complaining about that. I see both sides of it. People don't like the programming of some of what Dave Castro does. I like the last 2 opens. The new standard of movement, the handstand push-ups, is a joke. It's the politics and the buddy system that people don't like.
And I think we can wrap that up in one word: perception.
Yeah, absolutely. We as that are involved in CrossFit on a daily basis, I perceive this as a huge black eye to CrossFit, and it irritates the hell out of me when you push someone through just because they have the capacity, and you have the balls really to say that to all of us, that,
and put your stamp on it.
That's more of an insult than the video she submitted. She should be completely disappointed in herself. Ben Bergeron, I've lost respect for him. Okay, because this is her coach to allow this to happen. Both those athlete and coach, a lot of people lost a lot of respect for them that he would allow it, because I would never allow it. If I seen a bad video, it was in question, I would never let my athlete do it. I don't care if it meant they went or didn't go. I don't care. But they're not going to put, I'm their coach. They're not going to represent me in that way. And secondly, I'll never coach someone that wants to take the shortcuts. And maybe now we know why Brooke Wells never does that well in regionals and gets smoked at games, because she obviously is half-assing her stuff.
Well, there you have it, folks. You asked, we responded.
Brooke Wells, unblock me from Instagram, please. I got blocked. I did share a video.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She
That's hilarious.
Me. Yeah. She blocked everybody though. I'm just a part of a long list, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was a funny video, man. I shared it. You seen it, like when the dude.
Yeah.
With the Big Lebowski. It was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't
Does
seen
anyone care anymore?
You got to look it up, man. It's great. But hey, yeah, unblock me, Brooke.
So again, thanks for sending in requests for us to cover this. We just figured we'd give it its due diligence so that way we can put it to bed. But,
good night. Yeah, peace.
But again, thanks for all those comments, all those emails, all those messages, and keep them coming. And also, as always, we ask that you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and leave us a comment on Facebook as well. Until the next full episode, I'm Mo and I'm out.
See you. CrossFit. Love you, but I hate you. HQ.